Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what else? The Lakers. Um, you know what? Let's hit the intro in three, two, one. This is Perspective Log X, and I am your host, E.A. Crespo. Perspective Log X, Lakers-fandom. Welcome to Perspective Log Lakers-fandom. My name is E.A. Crespo. Um, there's a lot of wind going on right behind me. Um, well, we're going to game 5. This could be it, the last game. I don't expect the Miami Heat to go that easy. It's going to be a rough game. And I just want to talk a little bit about, YouTubers making commentaries. Some are pretty good. Some are, I don't know, crappy. um, I like when people talk about basketball and they talk about basketball. They talk about um, what is going on the court. I know players are human beings and they are affected by things on the sides. Uh, but I think it's kind of a disservice to players when they are attributed things outside of the court to their failures and their success. And I think when they are attributed to their success, is even more insulting. Um, so, there's some commentaries that since Tyler Hero, uh, is dating, I forgot her name, that Instagram model that was with Kyle Kuzma some time ago, and so she's been taking shots at Kyle Kuzma and all that kind of stuff, and so there are videos suggesting that Tyler Hero's big accomplishments are part of that. That's what is going on. That's why he's being big on the court and all that kind of stuff. And that is not the kind of thing, if I were him, I would be glad about. I mean, yeah, it's a boost to his girlfriend's ego, I guess, and all that kind of stuff. But it's against his own ego. It's like he needs somebody else to make him the best player he can be. You don't want to be that, because what happens if she breaks up with him? Is there going to be some, and he's got a bad game? Or if he's got a bad game and nothing is happening, people are going to start talking about all that kind of stuff that it makes, that it's a nonsense talking. Uh, so if I were a Miami fan, I would be upset about that. If I were Tyler Hero, I would be upset about that. Even when these videos are some sort of a compliment, maybe to the couple, they are not a compliment to the play. Also, some of these videos are made by allegedly Lakers fans who, in some sort of way, attribute that problem to Kyle Kuzma not being whatever they want him to be. So I want to focus on Kyle Kuzma for a little while. Kyle Kuzma, if you look at the all the the lineup of the Lakers with the stats of what they are getting paid, Kyle Kuzma is right at the bottom. The only two players after Kyle Kuzma on that bottom are Taylor Horton Tucker and Kostas Antetokounmpo. But Kostas and Horton Tucker are two-way contract. So two-way contracts are always going to be at the bottom. So to say in a certain way, sorry about the weather. I mean, it was not like that when I started, and it just turned like that. But the thing is, Kyle Kuzma is the guy at the bottom of the payroll. So he's not costing the Lakers much. So everything that comes from Kuzma is gravy because he is not being played. He's not being paid as a star player. He's not even the main player in terms of being paid in the whole roster. Maybe the new added players like Morris and maybe Morris. I don't know. I haven't checked Morris' salary with the Lakers, but of the roster that started, Kuzma was the one with the bottom of the payroll. So to say we have a player like Kyle Kuzma being the less paid player in the team, I would not complain. I would actually be grateful, And you can say, well, Danny Green is overpaid. But we should really examine that Danny Green is not just the catch and shoot, the typical catch and shoot guy. He does a lot of other stuff. He's a rebounder as a guard. He's one of the guys who sets the defensive tempo. I know a lot of people attribute that to Avery Bradley, right? But I think Danny Green is also one of the guys who set the tempo defensively. And he's very active constantly. And in the plus minus, he's always on the plus side. So he's doing these intangibles that also Caruso is well known for, right? But I understand when people kind of have a little bit of a obsession with Danny Green not making the points because his salary set him up for that kind of criticism. And I'm pretty sure he's well aware of that. Making him more aware as fans doesn't really does anything positive for the Lakers. And it doesn't. I know people, you pay for the seats, and you like right now you can't, but you pay for the seats. You sit down, and pay the NBA league pass or team pass or whatever you pay to see the Lakers succeed. But you know what doesn't make the Lakers succeed? Lack of confidence from the players. And that's what happens when you start just eroding at that player's confidence. You know, as a fan, we can't do that. If we do it, we're just helping the other teams. If we do it, we're just adding pressure, unnecessary pressure to the team and to the player, and we create a weak spot for our own team or the team that we are rooting for. So we gotta be sensible to the players because they're not just chess pieces. They are human beings that are trying to make, and this is their job, and this is their livelihood, and this is how they help their families and their communities. So I don't want to make this a lecture in a way, but it should be kind of a lecture because I've seen on Twitter specifically people killing their own uh, the fandom killing their own team members because they think they are getting paid too much and all that kind of stuff. And okay, you can comment on that, but when you go further and try to insult personally that guy, saying this guy is trash or this guy is so and so and so, you're not helping. You know, you might be putting pressure to change the player to another team, but then if that player start playing really well in the other team, you gotta wonder if it's the toxicity in the fandom that is doing the damage and not the player himself. So I want to get this out of my chest because I see a lot of not just a lot of people on Twitter doing that, and even in Facebook and in YouTube, but also I'm starting to see YouTubers that claim to be Lakers fans doing this kind of stuff. And look, if we need to trade Danny Green in the future, and it's good for him too. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's really what it's good for our future, or we need to give him another year before we thinking of trading him. Look what happened to KCP. KCP is now the third best scorer in the team. If we would have gotten rid of KCP, who knows how these finals would look like. And in the last game, Danny Green scored 10 points, which is kind of an average for him. He's not a 20 points per game player. He's got potential to score more than 20, that's for sure. But he's got a position, he knows how to do that position. And he knows that when his offensive game is not there, his defensive game is. We need to pay attention to that because we don't want to end up being known as the toxic fandom, right? Because that plays on the mind of a player who wants to come here and give 100% or not. See, let's say we trade Avery Bradley and Danny Green for Victor Oladipo, right? Will be in Victor Oladipo's mindset how Danny Green and Avery Bradley were treated while they were in this team. Of course, that would add pressure right away, and maybe Oladipo responds really well to the pressure, and maybe not. But if not, you know, are we doing the best thing for the team? Just just something to consider. Now, let's talk a little bit about what is going to happen in the next game. In the next game, Lakers are going to be rested. Miami's going to be rested. Um, I think veterans are going to decide who wins the next game. Veterans know that when they have a team under the ropes, they need to really take control of the basket, the situations, and the tempo, and all that kind of stuff. Young people have so much energy, they kind of forget about it. And in the case of the Lakers, one of the things that makes the Lakers a dangerous team is that one of the biggest veterans in that team, who is that? LeBron James. He's one of the most intelligent players in the league. And not only that, I mean, he is considered as one of the best players in the history of the game. So you have that guy as a veteran. But aside from that, then you have a guy who can score as fast as anyone, who's got speed that even younger players have difficulty to match up, who's got strength that other players have difficulty to match up against also. So in that sense, you can see how the Lakers have an upper hand on that matter. A lot of people are saying that the problem in game four for the Miami Heat is that they tried to come back using Tyler Hero and Robinson. They were having, they are two guys that at any given day they can just end the game by shooting the lights out from 3-point line. But we are talking about two kids that just started their careers in the NBA and that they they can be bullied by LeBron James, right? And so that's what he did. He picked them apart. Him and Rondo basically found all the holes necessary for the Lakers to uh, disrupt the defensive patterns of the Miami Heat, and they did it. They did it. I mean, they and that was what that's you know one of the things that kind of baffled me is at all this point I saw players that were in this team specifically to guard LeBron sitting on the bench. Iguodala, who was a Finals MVP, sitting on the bench. I think that was a coaching mistake of great proportions, and a coaching mistake that may have cost them not just that game, but the whole series. Because now the Lakers are going back to being confident, and the Heat have to go back to go like, oh man, we are in a 3-1 situation. And so, I mean, you have to play through that kind of odds, but it affects the mind of the players in a way that they can come out like savages, but as organized savages doing everything right, as savages, and as savages making all kinds of mistakes and doing everything wrong, or as a team that is already defeated. And that's the saddest, part of that. So I don't know. What do you think? By the way, I'll ask you, if you're watching this, that to go to my channel on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, share it with friends, and so and put your comments in so we can have a conversation. All right. So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna wish you a good day, a good weekend in advance. Though we are like halfway in the week, and go Lakers. All right. Bye bye.